dazed and confused. So, you know where I'm going with this. On the Jumbotron it says, tonight, live in concert, Led Zeppelin. Now, for me, Led Zeppelin could have been the Bay City Rollers. So I walk in, and after about hanging around in this smoky atmosphere with thousands of teenagers who had, these blissful expressions, just like at the Qawwali concert when I was 6 years old, the lights go down and these four musicians come up on stage. One of them, the guitar player, Jimmy Page, has this two-headed guitar. He's got dragons painted on his pants, and these laser lights are hitting him. And he picks up the guitar and he goes, dum dum, da da dum dum, da da dum, da da dum dum, da da dum, da 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 dum, da da dum. And all of a sudden, this almighty roar goes up saying, Kashmir! I'm thinking, Kashmir, it's not safe there. Pakistan and India have fought 3 wars over Kashmir. Yet, in this tornado of guitar, bass, drums, and vocals, and a whole lot of love, my heart whispered very strongly again. And at the end of that show, I said, I want to do that for the rest of my life. And so I go home, and I said to my mother, can I buy a guitar? And she said, well, if you can save up enough money, you can buy a guitar. So I worked as a busboy, Blowville Coach Diner, saved up $237 to buy a copy of a Les Paul. And once I had that instrument, it was my soulmate. I just never, came out of my room, locked myself in, listened to the Beatles, listened to the Zeppelin, Hendrix, Clapton, Beck, and I learned all the blues. And pretty soon, my parents got very scared. One day, a surgeon uncle from Pakistan showed up, and they said, can you go into his room and extract him? So my Uncle Anwar comes into the room, and I'm wailing away. The door. And he says, Beta, son, what are you going to do with your life? So behind him was this poster of Jimi Hendrix. I said, I want to be like that guy there. So he goes back to my parents and says, look, if he stays in the States, he's going to become a musician. Send him back to Pakistan now. There is no rock music there. So when I graduated from high school, my family moves back. I'm back in my city of Lahore. But now what's changed is there used to be democracy, but while I was away, a general, a military dictator came into power. It was like having a Pakistani Oliver Cromwell. No celebration, no enjoyment, no gender mixing, no music, especially not guitar music. It was like the kingdom of darkness. And I was in the first year of medical school in Lahore, and I was losing my mind. I couldn't go to any concerts, so one day I thought of this crazy idea. There used to be this gong show on TV. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna put together a secret talent show. So anybody in my class who can tell a joke, who can juggle, who can do anything or play guitar, can be on stage and have their 10 minutes of fame. So I schemed this whole thing up. It was off campus, 60 of us, and at this show, I'm waiting for the juggler to end so I can get up on stage. I had practiced Eddie Van Halen's Eruption. And I had one accompanying musician with me, a drummer, who had a cymbal, a snare drum, and a bass drum. And I said to him, each time I look at you, just hit the drums really hard. So I go into my solo, and I close my eyes. I'm going to this fast finger tapping, this part of the solo, and all of a sudden I hear these screams. And in my mind's eye, 18 years old, I'm thinking, I am the rock star. This is a little bit like Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future.
That was it!
And the screams get louder and louder, and I'm just enjoying myself until I realize that these screams are not of adulation and admiration. These screams are of apprehension and danger. So I open up my eyes, and lo and behold, I see the Taliban. And religious extremists who had heard that there was a den of sin and vulgarity, girls and guys mixing with each other, so they came there with burqas. They threw the burqas on the girls, and one of them, this guy with a crazed look in his eye, came up to me, and before I could process what he was trying to do, he grabbed my guitar, my Les Paul, and he smashed it on the marble floor. My rock and roll dream there, and in a weird way I also thought, you know, this is complete humiliation because rock musicians destroy their own guitars. Yet he goes to me, if you ever play that thing again, I will shoot you down. And they had guns, and this was also neighboring Afghanistan. The Soviets were there, so there was a drug culture, heroin, and a Kalashnikov culture which had filtered into Pakistan. So it was this really scary time. And a lot of students were killed for no reason. And the stark choices I had was either to cave into the fear, give up my passion, or follow my heart. I chose to follow my heart. Now, ever since terrorists have hijacked Islam, they've twisted so many things. For example, suicide is haram, it's prohibited, but there's suicide bombing. Killing innocents is prohibited, but they kill innocents. And the word, the J word, the dreaded J word, jihad, which actually means to strive, to lift yourself up, to lift yourself up and to lift society up, has been now conjures up these images of violence and extremism. So I decided, while I was in medical school, I was gonna wage a rock and roll jihad, a struggle to play my music. And I started several clandestine underground bands in Lahore, two of which, Vital Signs, became the biggest band in Pakistan. And the one I founded, Junoon, which means uncompromising passion bordering on madness. In other words, crazy. That band became the biggest rock band of South Asia. I found myself, thank you. In 2008, I took Junoon to play the first ever rock concert in Kashmir, despite death threats from militants. I played at the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony, and I'm here to tell you the story at the Moth. Thank you.
Salman Ahmed's band, Junoon, went on to sell over 25 million albums. The New York Times has called them the U2 of Pakistan. Along with Peter Gabriel, Salman wrote the song Open Your Eyes for Pakistan flood relief. You're listening to it now.
Open your eyes, open your heart.
A medical doctor by training, Salman also travels the globe as a goodwill ambassador, helping to eradicate polio. To see a photo of Salman on stage in front of thousands in Kashmir for the first time, go to themoth.org. That's it for this episode of the Moth Radio Hour. We hope you'll join us next time, and that's the story from the Moth. this hour was Tara Clancy. Tara's writing has appeared in the New York Times Magazine, the Paris Review Daily, and the Rumpus. Her memoir is titled The Clancys of Queens. Tara lives in New York City with her wife and 2 sons. The stories this hour were directed by Jennifer Hickson, Meg Bowles, and Sarah Austin Jeunesse. Our production